there are people on the TVH meeting, so can I get those names? Just a hands up or thumbs up, or just raise your hand. It's okay. Okay, I see. I will not mention the same name. I can't pronounce it. I see Garau. Mr. Matema. Okay. Who else? I'm only seeing 5, so only those. Okay. So my question to you guys: will you manage to be with us through and through? Oh, I should mention the guy with me, the co-pilot, the co-driver, Mr. Matlala. Mr. Matlala, say hi.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited for this meeting.
Sorry to interrupt, PuTTY.
He's out in the moment, but he will be back soon. He should be here.
Yeah, I think he was talking to us, the people who are in the group of TVH, and then currently some of us from Polokwane campus, we have a meeting, the hackathon meeting, the Limpopo hackathon meeting now as well. So I don't think we'll be able to attend this one.
No. I'm glad for you to make the time to just be here and mention that. I'm very much grateful for that, regardless of who's benefiting here. Yes, I've heard that. So what I will do, as I am doing now, everyone is invited. That simply means that everyone has access to this video. Whoever logged in as a guest, you will have issues accessing the video. But using your credentials that you were invited to this meeting with, I think you will be okay. I'm hoping you got invitations.
Okay, thank you. I think you got them.
Okay. If you had invitations, then you will be okay. Okay. What was the other thing? Guys, I should ask, like, do you know anything about connections?
What connections?
Connecting your backend and your front.
No.
Hey, last Tuesday was both back and front.
Okay, nice. Then you should be familiar with most of them. Yeah, this is odd, guys. So through all of you, only 3 are front ends. Wow, that's odd. Oh, Sivanya. How are you finding Angular, bro?
I find it challenging sometimes. Sometimes I get what I have to do, but so far I think I'm coping with the challenges, except for the API connections. I still have a bit of a problem there.
But have you at least dabbled a bit? Just tried it out, and like just testing something out, see what you can find.
Yes, I've tried different ways, and I've even checked on the what you call. Let me just check this thing.
Okay. Okay. No. Thank you for that.
I've checked.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I've checked on the console and stuff. So everything is okay. Just that I don't understand what's happening with my connection. So I've consulted with Shiko.
Okay.
So yeah, he offered to help out.
No. Thank you for that. Guys, okay, thank you for that. It's still odd. Only 4. I know you think that whenever someone, the 5th one come in, like it'll be like only 5. But yeah, guys, like, why are you this few? The many of you here. So no, since I'm busy preparing for this, and I was prepared, guys. I was prepared. Network died on us. Not on me, on TT. So I'm guessing, Mr. Matala, like, are you prepared to have your pitch?
Okay, I was about to say morning, but I guess it's best. Sorry, guys.
Okay, no, I'll simply stop sharing since I'm getting my things together. So Mr. Matala will take over now. Mr. Matala, do your thing. Oh, for the record, for Firebase, you only need a Gmail account. That's the only thing you need, Gmail account, and that's it. So just have that prepared.
Cool. So
Mr. Matala, go crazy, go crazy.
Hello, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I'm glad I am. Am I presenting, PuTTY? Yeah. Okay, cool. So pretty much what I wanted to present for today was how to deploy a website so that it's online. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do. Yeah, so there's a nice set of tools that you guys can make use of. King, I'm not audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna present the back end, and I'll show you guys how we got to this point here. For example, we have something that is running in the back end. For 3,000, I think, blogs should be working. Okay, cool. So
you're not sharing a screen, by the way.
I'm not.
You're not sharing a screen. You're using double screens, so it's possible that the presentation is on. In fact, we're not seeing anything.
So you guys are not seeing anything?
Oh no, I got it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's what we have here. So there's an API, and you might want to be able to create an API using this. So I'll show you guys the sort of tools that you can use to be able to do this. I don't know if it's going to be helpful for you guys or not. Now, the thing about the tools that I'm going to show you is that they're not so simple, but once you figure them out, they are amazing. I promise you guys, you're going to be competent and you're going to really stand out from a lot of people. That's what I can guarantee you guys about them. Because obviously here, you're going to be making use of Amazon, AWS, EC2. We're going to be creating a virtual server online. And then after that, we will be learning how to connect to the server and then make use of it. That's amazing. I think it won't be ideal that it's only a single day thing because there's a lot of good information out there that I can share, and I promise you guys you will love it. So the first thing, let's create a server that is online. So now to create a server, I'll show you there's something that is called Bitnami. It's spelled like this. So it's called HTTP. Okay, let me take notes on the side just so that we can make use of them. This is step one. It's called https.com. Hopefully I wrote it correctly. So cool. So that's the first thing that you're gonna do. You're gonna go to Bitnami, and once you get here, this is amazing. You're gonna see this. what do they do? Pretty much what these people do, they package your application. And the nice thing about it is that it's free forever. They're not going to give you a domain name or anything like that, but they're just going to package your application. As you can see here, discover more than 180 application servers and language runtime packages for your favorite platforms. That's amazing about these guys. That's why I prefer them. If you know a little bit about Bitnami, is that they are the ones that actually made XAMPP. I know a lot of us know about XAMPP. They made XAMPP. So they are the ones that package XAMPP, or what we call a LAMP server. Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Those are the ones that package this. So it's nice to work with this company. Like I said, it's free. So I've already signed in. I already have an account with them, as you may be able to see here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to applications. Let me just also write it here. So the first thing, we register with this guys. Step 2, after registering, you can go to applications and create a new application. So now here's something interesting.
Also member for Mac.
Oh, mem, I like that. That's a good one there. So yeah, I like that. So as you can see, like they said, I think they mentioned 180 something applications that you can make. So if you guys are too complex, let's say this, for example, there's a WordPress site that you can make. There's a WAMP. WAMP stands for Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So for example, if you're using Windows, that's where you're going to go for it. There's LAMP. It stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. That's pretty much what it stands for. And this is what we're going to be using. Some of you guys know, I don't know if you know this, but some people use Ruby. There's, I don't know what Ghost is. There's PHP, there's Django, there's WAP. I don't know what that is. There's MEMP. That's for, I think, I don't know what MEMP is for, but then it's there either way. There's mean. Mean, that's when you become a mean stack developer. I forgot the term behind it, but then there's mean stack development. There's a lot here as well, and it's amazing. There's also Node.js, but we don't have to concern ourselves with it. There's a better package. We see there's Laravel that you can make use of. Metal, what. There's a lot anyway. I guess long story short is that there's a lot. There's Open, LDB, whatever it is. There's .NET, there's .NET SDK, but then there's Azure CLI. Okay, I just clicked it. I didn't mean to click it. But yeah, there's a lot that we have here. That's what I can say about it. And there's Git, there's Rails, I don't know what. Yeah, there's a lot pretty much for a lot of people. There's PHP, my admin. There's Neo4JS, I don't know what that is. There's Java, there's Python. There's a lot that we have here. Our main focus will be on LAMP. So I'm going to click LAMP. So as I've said, LAMP stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. Now I'll show you where this is helpful. Now you'll be asking yourself, but then I'm not using PHP. We're using, what is this? Node.js. So now the nice thing about the LAMP server packaged by Bitnami is that it works well with PHP. So what this guys require you to do, like I said, there's nothing for free. There's nothing for free. I don't believe in that anyway. I know PuTTY is smiling right now. He's about to hit me with something, but I don't believe there's anything for free. That's my take on it. There's nothing for free. So, like I've mentioned as I begin, that how this is going to work is that you're going to need, what is this? Amazon, AWS. That's what you're going to be using. So now AWS is amazing. The reason why I like AWS is because, fine, it's not free. That's good, but it's the most reliable, in my opinion. It's one of the most reliable servers that you can ever get. Besides that, their documentation and their support is very good. They don't care how big you are. There was a point where I was struggling with my server. I sent them a message and they replied to me back the same day. And they were asking me, how can we help you? What is the problem? And remember, I'm not a big company. I just had a problem. And they replied. They will reply. They will provide you the documentation that you need. You can call them and be like, hey, how do I fix this? That's how we learn sometimes. You don't have to learn by looking at Facebook or by looking YouTube always. You can just call them and be like, okay, I have a server. How do I connect to it? They will help you. That's a nice thing about it. Because you're a customer at the end of the day, you have those rights to have support. Cool. So we have single tier. we have virtual machines, we have all those things. So now what we're going to focus on is what we call single tier. Don't be confused by single tier here. But then what it simply means is that you're going to create a server that's going to be online, or a virtual machine online, that you'll be able to access it. As I can show you here, this is our virtual machine. It's online, and this is how we connect to it. I can connect to it by just doing this. And then it's just going to take me to a website. Either way, this is our virtual machine. It's online. I can also try to access the virtual machine and try to see if I can get some APIs that are here. Let me see if I can get all of them. Some APIs I know I cannot get them, cannot get users because I'm not logged in. But I know I can get blogs. Blogs is easy. There's notes. I'm not sure if I can get notes. Cool. There's notes that I can get. These are APIs pretty much. As if I were using what is this? Let me think. Postman. And I were to be writing these APIs. These are the replies that I was going to be getting from Postman. So it's nice. So what I can tell you here is that this server is running and it's online, right? I created it before. So now we're going to create a brand new one here. So you can just go ahead and click single tier there. LM for tier. Hi, I don't know if I wrote it correctly or not. Tire. Cool. Now we just created a single tire there. So now it's going to ask you questions. Launch in the cloud. Cool. We want to launch this because what these guys do, they just package it for you. Remember how when we come here, what we're simply using when we go and we create a NodeJS server on our local machine, and then we connect the NodeJS server to MySQL, and then we're able to run it locally. That's what we do, right, all the time. And so now we're trying to replicate what we are doing there, here. And so now it's going to ask you, do you want to create using a Google platform, Azure, Amazon, or whatever? Like I said, these guys, all that they just do, they just package everything for you and then just hand it to Amazon. And then Amazon will then just give it back to you the way that you want it to be. That's pretty much what they do. They just package it for you. So now I already have an AWS account. If you do not have an AWS account, you're going to have to go and create it. But the nice thing about these guys is that they have good documentation. I don't know if you guys can see that documentation is standard. It's very good. So I'm going to go here, launch LAMP packaged by Bitnami. Cool. I'm just going to click here. Right. Launch LAMP package by, is it Bitnami? Bitnami. Cool. So I don't know if you, yeah, that's pretty much it. So now the second thing that's going to create. So now what we're seeing here is that we're creating a new virtual machine. That's what we're doing. And our virtual machine is a LAMP virtual machine, which is Linux, PHP, Apache, and MariaDB. That's pretty much what it is there. Or my SQL, whichever way that you say it. So we're just going to call it ISAP server. Let's just call it that for now. And so obviously, like I said, I have a client account with these guys here, and it'll ask you a few questions. Do you want it to be nano? Do you want it to be micro? Do you want it to be small? Do you want it to be medium or what? What this means is that how big do you want your server to be? Do you want it to be a big server that serves a lot of traffic? Do you want it to be a small server? Do you want it to be a nano server? I think for us, what we can do, since there's a test, we're not going to be using it anywhere. It can be a nano server. We're going to be using it for this purpose. But then over time, then you might want to say, okay, cool. I just want it to be a medium, or I don't know how big you want it to be. As you can see, the server size is here. As you go on and on and on, there's this one, which is like, what is this? 300 or 33,000 US dollars. That's a lot of money. Look at the estimated cost. It's like 19,000 US dollars. I don't know how much that is in rents, but then this is your Google kind of level. It's very, very big. bandwidth is a lot. You find out that the gigabytes are many. There's a lot about it. But then now, since we're starting out, we're just gonna go for something very simple. We're just gonna make it a nano. As we can see, the estimated cost is $5 per month. Now, it's just an estimate. It's not the actual cost. It can be less, it can be more, depending on how much you use it. That's the nice thing about AWS as well, is that they bill you based upon how much you use your server. So now we have everything. So where's the region about this? We don't really have to care about this one. I normally don't even do anything. You can choose where you want your server to be located. I know that normally my servers are located in Virginia in USA, but you can also choose South Africa here. But normally I just go for where it was initially. I just leave it here normally. That's pretty much where I prefer it to be. I don't know what the other means. I've been using it this way. I didn't come across a problem. That's why I didn't find the need to search what it means. So cool. Next step, we're gonna create the server. Now remember, they're gonna bill me, but then they're not gonna bill me now because I've already been using AWS. It's fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and create. So the nice thing about AWS is that when you start, fine, they may or may not bill you. That's fine. But then obviously it's AWS. They're gonna bill you eventually. But like I said, there's nothing for free, especially if you want to have good quality things. Don't expect to go for free things. Simple things are too limited. They're not gonna provide for you good documentation. They just want you to start with them so that it's harder for you to let go. That's my philosophy anyway. So create a server. As we can say, create a nano server. Let the location be default. By location, I mean where your server is hosted. Where the server is hosted. Cool. Just let that be a default. It's fine. And so now, as you can see here, there's a few things that are happening. It says server info not started yet. That's one of the things that we see. We can see we're running a solid state. We have 10 gigabytes solid state. Our memory is 512. Had we been taking bigger servers, your memory maybe it can go as much as I don't know what. So we have here the server status is running. As we can see, that's our server IP address. The IP address is not static. That means if I restart my server or I stop it and then I start it again, the IP address is going to change. But for as long as the server is running, the IP address will be the same. For example, here, we have the IP address as this. But then if I restart the server, they're going to assign me a brand new IP address. That means it's not static. You can try to buy or get a static IP address and use it for good. That's also possible. I forgot how that is done. But then for this present moment, I didn't find a need to do that because my servers have been running throughout. And so now what that means is that if your servers are like this, and you're gonna obviously, when you give somebody something, you're gonna have them point to this IP address here, except if maybe you have a domain name. I think there's one here that has a domain name, dsopoint.com. That's one of the servers that I hold. It is a domain name, and obviously it's now, I don't know what happens in the background, but it works. Anyway, don't worry about what is here. It was done a long time ago. Cool. So back to my server now. So now, as you can see, there's a little bit more things here. There's LAMP server is open source software stack that provides a framework for creating PHP. So like I said, it's open source, so you don't pay for all this UI here. The only thing that you pay for is AWS. Nice. So this is free. But I think they are doing some good document. Obviously, like I said, there's nothing for free. And if you don't pay something, that means you are the product. So I don't know how these people are making money from giving us a free service here, but then somewhere, somehow, it could be. Cool. So now, let's see what's the documentation that we can find. Let's go to application. This is the start of the application. It just says, congratulations, you're now running Bitnami LAMP 8.1.0. That means that's the version of our MySQL and what is this? PHP, pretty much. So that's the versions that we're running here. But obviously, we're not going to be using PHP. We're going to be using something different. So other things that I want to talk about, like I said, this is the memory. Pretty much this is your server information. You can see how big your server is. It has 10 gigabytes. So which means if you're going to be storing a lot of information, this is not going to be ideal. But 10 gigabytes is a lot. You can store so many queries, so many things. You can store a lot. And I'll show you some interesting things. So another thing you can see with the location of your server is UA East, US East. The estimated cost is here. And after this, you can see some download key.pem ppk. I'll explain what those are. There's also show SSH command here. There's a shutdown, there's the delete, there's the boot. If I delete, then I'm completely deleting the server. If I shut down, then I'm shutting down the server. I'm turning it off. It's like me turning off a PC. That means when I turn it on again, this is going to change. And then there's also reboot. I don't know what reboot is. Pressed it several times, but I didn't really find the need to concern myself with it. The reason is because I never got to a point where I needed to reboot it. On what is this? The left side of your screen, you can see go to application. We clicked it, and then it took us here. What did I think? I think it took us there. Learn more obviously takes us somewhere else. It says launches in a new window, and then we have credentials. The nice thing about these credentials is that these are credentials to our what is this? My SQL. So we have our SQL password here. We have pods. The nice thing about it is that, as you can see here, I have something running here. This is a server that is online. I'm running it. Maybe for test purposes, it doesn't matter. As you can see, it's running. It's online right now. It's localhost port 8880 PHP my admin, and the password that is required for me to log into this database is this one here. But obviously, it's a different one. Now I'll show you. Let's connect to a server right now. Just created a server. Now we want to connect to it. So what I'll do, I think it'll be best if I can link you guys with this information. Getting started. I'll keep it here. This is good information. Promise you, it's amazing information. So I'll just put it here and connect to PHP my admin. I'll also just put it there. From there, I think everything is just straightforward because their documentation is better than what I just wrote down on this notebook here. I mean, on this notepad, because they teach you everything, how to use it, how to start, how to connect, how to see everything that you're doing, how to even create what we call, how to connect to, what is this? Files. I'll show you how to do that now. And I think what we're going to do, I want us to have a live demonstration. We're going to deploy one of your guys' applications that you did, and then we'll see, I'll show you guys how to do that. There's also documentation as well that you can look into. There's articles. They provide good information. I think the thing about being a software engineer is that I promise you're going to have to read a lot. And the more you read is the more you have good information to be able to do whatever that you want to do, which is what we have here. Secure PHP, my admin, create a new database. I'll show you guys how to do all those things. That's amazing. Any questions so far? But just know, so far we just created a server. Do you guys have any questions before we continue into the most exciting part? Cool. I'll take it silence means no questions. So now let's move to the second part. So now we have this. Who wants us to make an example with their system right now? I need the backend particularly. Does anybody have a backend that they know is running? It's connected to MySQL. At least there's one or two APIs. It's also deployed on GitHub. Who has that we can make a live demonstration with their system? Guys, this is for your own good, guys. You're gonna have your system deployed online. I would advise you to say something.
And it's okay. We're not gonna take it away or just do something to it. We're just gonna demonstrate how to deploy it. And this is one of the issues we had previously when I was trying to present. Coquette, I had you done with the login and registration. Can we use that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, nice. So the nice thing is that going forward, you have a server for your system. So now your APIs will be online to be accessible wherever. That's nice, guys. Cool. So what I want you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, cool. So, okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to give me the location of a GitHub repo, and then we will clone it into this server here, and then we will get it run. Oh, ISAP, yeah. Oh, sorry. You go ISAP. All right, cool. So let me go straight to ISAP. What is it called? What's the system called?
Stemia.
Stemia. Cool. So that's Stemia, right? This is it here.
The branches.
It's a branch.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, how do I clone from a branch?
Okay, it's that one.
No, it's okay. Since the branch is empty, so it's gonna be easy. Just clone the master. After cloning the master, you pull Cockets.
I can see. I found some.
I don't know which one is it. Is it Vilcosia or Cockets?
It's Vilcosia.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. At least we have it. That's what we have here.
Yeah,
so that's what
just clone that now. Then after cloning, you pull it.
All right, cool. So now I'll show you. So now remember, our server is on a remote PC elsewhere. It's here. So now the next step is to connect to the server. Cool. So like I was saying, our server is here. So now we need to know how we're going to connect to the server. Let's do that now. So if you look carefully, there's something that is called download key. These keys are very important. They are the ones that help us connect to our server. So now to connect to your server, you're going to need something called PuTTY. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it the right way, PuTTY, but then something like that. So PuTTY said it's PuTTY. Yeah, you're going to use PuTTY. Nice one. Yeah, you're going to make use of PuTTY to connect to your local server. So the person that we're going to do, we're going to download the PPK file. That's the nice thing about these guys. They documented everything for you. ISAP server. Cool. So we have ISAP server. I know where it's located somewhere. So now, where do we find PuTTY? It's here on the documentation. Find out how to configure PuTTY. The information gives you all the steps. So you don't have to memorize what I'm saying right now. The documentation is going to provide all the steps for you guys. So now back to PuTTY. Okay, let me open a brand new one. It's here, it's fine. Cool. So now we need to create a new one. So I'm going to call it ISAP server. So now the first thing that it says it needs the host name or IP address. Cool. So let's get the host name or IP address. So now since we don't have a host name, we only have the IP address. We're going to go ahead and copy this. Remember, this server is brand new. It's a brand new thing. It has not been used at all. And so now, fine, that's what the first thing that we did. We give it a name. We're not done yet. That's what we call SSH. We're going to go to auth. And then here, we're going to enter our private key. Our private key, where is it? It's here, ISAP server. That's the PPK that we just downloaded. So whenever you download the PPK, you just need to make sure you know its location, and then you're going to open it inside PuTTY here. And then tunnels. What are tunnels? Tunnels are what allows us to be able to do this. This is a tunnel. We're able to connect to our server, but then bring it to our own local machine. That's the tunnel. So we can do that. So what is the source port? Source port, it says, is 8888, which is here. That's the source port, 8888. And then the destination, we're going to say the destination is local host port 80. Just leave it like that and click add. It's going to add it there. And then we did this. That's fine. We did this. It's there. And then there's data. This auto login name. If you don't enter this name, it's going to require you to enter a login username. Our login username is always Bitnami. Cool, it's done. So let's see what's next from here. Session, everything is done. We can save the changes that we made, and then we can go ahead and open. Cool, accept all this. Nice. So now what you can see here, if you remember correctly, this is back to now, what is this? Let me try to increase the font. Just make it 16. Cool. That's what we have here. That's your IP address. Oh, me that. But then anyway, this is your server here. So now we can begin to interact with the server. So as we can see, I don't know if you know the ls commands and all those things that we have here. So let's see, there's htdocs, cd, htd docs. So those are some of the things that we have. If I say ls, that's where our index is. That's where your server will be. So now what we're going to do from here, I think we can just go ahead and make a new directory. No, but not inside htdocs. I'll just do it elsewhere. cd go out once, ls, we're inside here. We're going to make a new directory. And then I'm going to call it stemia. Kind of what's stemia, ne?
Yes.
Stemia server. I'll just call it Stemia server. That's the directory where your backend will be hosted. I'll just do that. So now if I do ls, I can see there's htdocs, there's stack, there's Stemia server. So now we're cool here. So now we can get inside Stemia server. So now I can say cd Stemia server. Cool. Now we insert there. So now the nice thing about Bitnami is that they also, like I said, it's a full package. We also have Git here. Cool. As you can see, we have a Git version. So the next thing that we're going to do is just to log into GitHub. How do we do that? We say git config. Hopefully I'm entering it correctly. Global user.name. And then I'll go ahead and say Shikumatlala. If I didn't type it correctly, I do not know. Oh, I want to say global. Oh yeah, I meant to say global. Thank you for that. So I said git config global. My name is Chico Matlala. Cool. So I just entered that. And then there's git config global user dot email. And your email. That's the email that you use for GitHub, chicomatlala@gmail.com. Cool. Done. So you can check it if you want to. Git config user.email. Then you can see that's my email that I just entered right now. So now that we've signed into our Git, we didn't really sign into our GitHub, but we just set up our configuration, like our username and our email. So now at least you can link to the two. But the problem with this method is that you can only pull, you cannot push back, right? So now we're going to say git clone. And then we're going to go back to what Kogetsu told us to find. I don't know. I hope I'm cloning it correctly. Cool. Let's see. Did I do it correctly? All right, cool. Seems like we're done. Let's check something. ls. So now we can get in. Ooh, where did I put my? Oh, cool. There it is here. Yeah. So now we can go into the folder. cd stemia. By the way, I don't know why, but it's case sensitive. So when we say ls, how do I pull? Git pull. Git pull. It says already up to date. That means on their side. Oh, cool. Yeah.
It's git pull Vilcosia. Remember, they haven't merged to master.
Oh.
So go to the repository now and see the branches.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it's Vilcosia, capital letter VI. Yeah, there it is.
So I just do git pull, and then I write down her name, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Then okay. Are you in there? No, you're not in the repository.
Oh, I'm not in the right what? I didn't.
No.
You could get to ISAP.
Thank you.
Git pull could get to ISAP, ne?
Yeah. Yeah, sazi ukuthi simthola lapho uVilcosia manje.
Fatal does not appear to be. King was Bilana? Please make sure you. Right, quick it. Very good. But we're inside, no? I should clone. Do what? Kidding? Oh, nice one. Did I spell it correctly? Nice one. PuTTY to the rescue, brother man. Cool. So now we can see all those things. Thanks, PuTTY. Cool. So now we have this thing here, but we're not yet done because if we can, let's say, let's check on her app here. Yeah. Can I do what? Can I start? Okay. I just did. I want to list. There's config, there's models, there's routes. Obviously, if I say cd config, and then I say ls, I can see, and then I can just do nano db.js, and we can see what she was working on here, which is cool. We can see her work. So I'm just gonna exit. Hey, you gonna exit the X, no? X. All right, cool. So now we have this thing that is working here. Now, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Is it simple? Is it not simple? But honestly, we are software engineers here, and I don't think it doesn't get any simpler than this. Obviously, there can be other ways that people find interesting, but the nice thing is that at least you can now communicate with your server, and now subjects like Buddy SSF, they start to make sense now because you can always install things. So now let's go ahead and install Node in here, since that's what we want to start to use. Let's see. I never really memorized how to install Node. How to install Node JS on Linux. I just go for whatever that we come across, and we just see here. So the sudo app install Node.js. So where am I gonna place? Honestly, I don't think it really matters where you're gonna put it, but I'll just go out for now. Cool, I'll just install it here. I don't know. Oh, ooh. Cool, just install it here. Why doesn't it want to install? Apt install. Okay, so right now we're gonna install Node just like we always do on our PC. We're doing the same thing here. It's the same concept everywhere. Do you want to continue? Yes, I do. That's pretty much the nice thing about it. Just like you would do anywhere, you're gonna do it here. It's still busy installing. Cool. So now we can say Node version, and then it can show us the latest version of Node. Let's check the latest version of Node. Cool. It's now Node.js is now available. I don't know what the latest version is. We're still on version 12. Let's see the current version. Why does it not give me the latest version? I have to specify it. JX Linux latest version. App Node. Node TLS. I don't know what that is. Android. Oh, app Linux, Linux. I'm just gonna close this. I'm really interested in that for now. Why did it not install the latest version of Node? I don't know. Why though? Because app Node. Or there's a difference between Node and Node.js. Shouldn't be a difference, man. So what's the difference? Install. Anyway, fine. It's installed. Node version. Okay, Node.js version. Okay, it's the same thing. Anyway, it's fine. Cool. So we have Node here, and now let's go ahead and install npm. Sudo c blah blah blah. How do I install npm? I did install this. Does npm come with Node PuTTY? So, yeah. No, so it's happening. Okay, but then npm is already installed. It doesn't. It doesn't show. So which means I might not have npm version. Version I got. Okay, let me do this. Sudo apt install npm. Whoa. He would do what? Let's see. npm d. Cool. npm is there now. Right? Cool. So now let's see where we are. So now since we know where we are, we can always go back to Stemia server. I don't know, I like to do that. CLS, obviously. Now we can change our directory back to Stemia backend.
We've got an hour till it's setting. Just bear that in mind.
Yes, so that's what we have here. So now remember, whenever we start our server, go npm, before, not go npm. After we have cloned the GitHub repo, the first thing that we did, let me just do this. Obviously, we know the steps, npm I. Okay, let's see. Repo URL. So we did our git clone, and then the next step is to do npm I. But then obviously the one thing that we did as well, we installed, what is this? We installed Node, and we know the command. I think the command is sudo apt get or apt install Node.js. We also did sudo apt install npm. And so now we're just going to do npm I, which is going to, what is this, install everything that is inside our package JSON. We can check what our package JSON looks like. Package.json. Cool. So now we see there's .env, there's Morgan, there's MySQL, there's cause, there's all these things here. So now I can just go ahead and exit here, and then npm I initial whatever install. I think it's installed. All right, cool. Let's see. Cool. So it installed everything. So now if I say nano package.json, we can see. So now we can check if cause is present and also expressed in MySQL. So we can just do this. I think is cause version. Okay, it's not there. I don't know. But then we know this cause is there. Yeah, cool. So from here, we can just run our server, which is npm. Oh, I'm sorry, node. Okay, let's see something. So it seems as though our server is running on server.js according to the method that Gokezo is using here. So we can do node server.js. Cool. So now we're gonna get some interesting things. So the first thing that we can see is that application running on port 3000 is there, but then there's something else. So we say access denied for user blah 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 blah, password no, and all those things using password. So the reason why this is the case, let me end our server here. The reason why this is the case is that if we say nano, or we try to see, and I'll say config.db.js, you can see something here. We have stemia, we have root, and then there's an empty password here. And obviously we know we're running on localhost. Those are some of the things that we're seeing, and then there's also MySQL. So now we need to also update this information here. So now we can go ahead. I don't know if this is going to allow us to do so, but can we edit? Cool, let's see something. So what is our username? On the server that we have, we can see our username is always root. That's the nice thing about it. But our password, I just copied it now. When you double click here, it just copies. You can just go straight to our password and just paste it here. Cool. Our password is pasted, and there's also localhost is there. There's also MySQL, which is our dialect. Now, does the database Themia exist? We need to create this database. How do we create the database? Easy stuff. So I'm just going to exit this edit here. I'm just going to say MySQL user is root, and then the password. And the password is what? Where's that thing? Cool. The password, I just copied it again. And then I'm just going to click enter here. I didn't enter the password. So now it says enter password. The thing about it is that when you enter the password, it's not going to show. So I'm just going to do a paste, which is what I just did right there. And then enter. Cool. So now we inside MariaDB here. This is our database now. So if, for example, I say show databases. Cool, we have databases, we have MySQL, we have sys, we have test, but then we don't have the Themia database. Now we can go ahead and create a database called what? I think here it is called Themia. Cool, let's just go ahead and create Themia. Cool. Now one row affected, we just created a database. So now if I run the same command again and say show databases, we can see Themia now exists. That's the first step. So the first step is done. Let's see something here. If we go back here. So on the connection string here, we see Themia is there. The root is there. The password is there. The local host is also here. But now this can also throw us a little bit off. Instead of the local host, I'm going to put the ID. Or what is this? Not the ID. I'm just going to put this. I'm actually forgetting if it's the ID or actually the local host. But let's try first with the local host. If the local host doesn't work, then we'll go straight to the ID. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit my SQL here now. Cool, I just exited. So now let's try to run back node like we did before and see where now it happens. Cool, so now we can see application running on port 3000, that's cool. Wait, so was this working all along, ne?
Yes, it was working.
Oh, sorry, I think I see what my problem is. I just made changes here, but I didn't push them. That's my problem. No, it's not gonna work. Okay, no, it's fine. But yeah, it's not gonna work. So now I just need to make the changes inside. What is this? Nano. Let me just do the nano command again. To make the changes inside here. So how do we make changes inside here? Stemia is there. We just created the Stemia root. So now we're gonna go to the password. We have the password. We just copy it again. And then I'm just gonna paste it there. That's the password. So yeah, we have Stemia root password, and let's try to save. So how do we save? When you want to save, you just click Control Exit. It's gonna ask, do you wanna save? And then you just type yes, and then you're done. You just save. We can check again if it worked. Cool. Now we can see the password is here. There's a secret password, by the way, but it's fine. Cool. So now we can just try to run the same thing again and see if this time it's gonna work. Does it look like it's working, Gogetsu?
Yes.
It's working like
Yes.
this. All right, cool.
Yes.
So now the nice thing about this now is that our server and our, what is this? Everything is running. That's the nice thing. So now, how do we access, what is this? This thing now, this API here. We want to test it now. Let's test how Gogetsu did it here for us. I'm just going to close the server for now. And then I'm just going to do ls just to see what's inside. I just want to check. I'm just going to do nano app.js just so that we can see how she structured the APIs. So we can see, let's try to connect to this API here. There's something called API Learner. So if I connect to API Learner, will I be able to get learners? Okay, so?
Yeah, that one is for learners. It's actually it's for registration, then you'll get the information.
Okay, so if I do get API, if I do API and then I write a get statement, will I be able to get learners?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's test if it works. What is this? Node server.js. All right, cool. So now let's go. Moment of truth. All right, cool. So we're gonna copy this. So now remember, our server is running on port 3000. We're gonna put it here, port 3000. And I think as we came to learn, it's let's look it up here. I think we can just leave this. No, leave. We just want to go to Stemia, and then we're going to go to app.js, and then we have an API root here, learner, api.learner. So then we can just say api.learner. Now remember, our server's running. It's time to end. We're running out of time. Okay, seems like we're running out of time. I'm running out of time. Okay, so give it. I think let's start with this and then we'll do the other one. Yeah, cool. Because it's not gonna be that quick. Okay, cool. What is going on here? We have this side can't be reached. So now this is where you guys now have to use your software engineering skills. Yeah, you become an engineer right now. So now it says this side cannot be reached. This is not an uncommon problem. We know what it is, and we're gonna fix it now. How do we fix this? We're gonna go to application, and then we're gonna launch this thing in AWS so that we can fix it. So I'm gonna click here, go to application. No. Where's what I'm looking for? Nano server information. Okay, I was looking for this. It says manage in the AWS Cloud Console. We're gonna click that. So now it takes us back to Amazon now. We need to now, manage our server inside Amazon. Nice. So the reason why we cannot connect to our server right now is because what AWS does is that by default, when you create a server, it blocks it from being accessible by other PCs or other computers and so on. So now you need to allow that to not be blocked. You need to pretty much open the access so that it can be allowed elsewhere. So to do that, we're just going to click our instance here. That's the one that we just created. It's called Bitnami Lamps, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to go to security. This is what we're going to do. And then after we get to security, there's what we call security groups. We're going to go into that. Now from here, when you get into security groups, you have what we call inbound rules. Now, pretty much, I think, if I'm not mistaken, what this means is who can access this thing and whatnot. That's what we're going to edit here. So we're going to go to edit inbound rules. I don't know if it's visible there. Edit inbound rules. Oh, so now when we go to edit inbound rules, we're going to go to add rule. And so now we have a list of things here. We have all TCP, we have custom, blah, blah, blah. We have SMTPS, that's simple multimedia text. I don't know what that is. I think it's email or something. There's Oracle, there's MySQL. So now we're gonna go ahead and click MySQL. Now, some of the things that I'm clicking here, they just do not need to be clicked, but I'm just gonna click it anyway. So now when I say MySQL, what I'm saying is this. This is the type, MySQL protocol TCP custom source port. It's obviously accessible here. And then when I click this, I'm saying it's accessible by everybody. Everybody can access our MySQL provided we give them the right credentials. The next step is I will just say all TCP IP. And so now who can do this? We'll just say everywhere IP version 4, and then saying everybody can now access this thing. What else did I add last time? I didn't test all of them, but some of them they're just not needed. I'm just adding them. All ICMP version 4. And then we're just gonna say custom, accessible everywhere, accessible by everybody. I think from here we should be done. Everything else I don't think is really needed. All traffic. I don't know. I think I also clicked all traffic once upon a time. So cool. Anyway. So pretty much we just opened as many things as we can. Now, as soon as we get more advanced, we will know why we did this, and some of the things some of us will be like, no, I don't need to do this anymore, or I just need to maybe just add one thing at a time. Sometimes you'll also want to add only a specific IP address here that can access your stuff. But then for now, I just open it to everybody. So I'm just gonna save our rules. As soon as we save our rules, we can see here everything is saved, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. Cool. So I can go back to security groups now. And the nice thing about it is that as soon as you save here, it's automatically saved even on our server here. So let's try to refresh and see what happens now. Yay! It says cannot get API.learner. So our API is done here. That means I don't know. The problem may be, I guess we know how this works. Our API is done. It's correct. It's working. It's fine. I guess the only thing that is just there is maybe from Koketso's side. I don't know what's going on, but we have a problem again. If we need to end this somehow, we need to close this and just turn off the PC that we're using. So now let's do that. The best way to do that is just to do a Control-C. Now we know this is listening because it says cannot get API learner. That means it's listening. But now I just closed everything here. Let's see if it's gonna work or not. Now it cannot reach the site anymore. Our port is closed, our server is no longer running. How do we fix this problem? It's easy. The best way to fix the problem, before you start, you just do something that we call screen, and then you run it. And then from there, cool, we just did the screen thing. I just did it, shouldn't be a problem. Cool, we just did screen. That's what you do. You run your screen command. Did I just run it again? Yeah, you run a screen command, and then you can then go ahead and run your node server.js. So that's cool. Now it's running. And as we can see, if I do a refresh here, it says you cannot get learner. That's fine. Our server is responding. So from here, we can just close. Are you sure you want to close the session? Yes, fine. If I do a refresh, it's still working very well. So our server is running and our APIs are cool. I don't know, anything confusing, not confusing? Was it easy? Was it confusing? Was it nice? Was it bad? What do you guys feel about this? If you don't like it, it's fine. I would understand. But then this is one standard way of making it work. And I think it's simple because we already understand what we're doing. It feels like we're using Windows without the UI. That's literally how it feels. Obviously, yeah, anything, how do you guys feel about this? Any feedback from you guys? I would really, really appreciate it.
Guys, so we're against time here. So please just stay your peace. Forever hold it. Okay, so silence simply declares that you are all okay. I'm assuming that you are. So I'm expecting hosted backends because remember, guys, as far as APIs goes, it doesn't matter where the information is from. The fact of the matter, you just have to access that information. Once you access it, you get to play with it however you like. So that's the beauty part of it, of having your APIs online. You can access them anywhere. Local host, deployed, easy. That's what I like about that. But without any further ado, let me just step into how you can deploy your front. And yeah, I've heard this guy talking about free stuff or free stuff. Hey, if it works, it works. It's cool. So we'll stick to that. So let me just share my screen, Mr. Matala. Can you stop sharing? Yes, please.
Another thing, guys, that I forgot to mention is obviously now what's interesting about this is that you don't have to always come back here and try to. I see there's people waiting in the lobby. Okay, cool. Yeah, another thing is that as soon as you get this working, let's open this server again, is that going forward, you don't have to be using Nano like I was using. Nano is the text editor that is native to to Linux. It's a Linux text editor. But obviously, we don't see the UI, so you use commands there. Now, going forward, you're not going to have to use all these things because you'll be pushing on Git. The only thing that you'll be doing here is just a pull. That's it. So obviously, you will know where your server, where your stuff is. CD, stemia, server, ls, cd, stemia, be. So since you know your GitHub stuff is here, you just always gonna write a git pull. Whenever you've made your local changes, you're just gonna run a git pull. And once you run a git pull, everything will refresh itself, and then your whole server will receive the changes that you made or that you pushed to GitHub. That's the nice thing about this, and then it's done. So obviously you're gonna have to sign in here again and blah 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 blah. Now there's more things to show you guys that are exciting, but for now I think it's best to end it here. Thanks, Mr. Matoto. Done.
Oh, Mr. PuTTY. Said guy coming through. Yeah. Okay, guys. So here we are. Oh yeah, I've managed to cook up a UI